Hi everybody, and thank you for taking the time to view this video. Hopefully this is something that's going to help your decision whether you like this car or not. So this is my 1989 190e 2.6 white on Palomino, and it's for sale. So let's take a look around the car. It does have a clean title, and it's original Florida car. But it has been used, and it's been used as a daily. I believe the original gentleman that had it was a elderly gentleman, and I believe I'm the third owner, if I can recall from the Carfax correctly. So first things first, let's just walk around the car. The car's not perfect, but it won't take very much for it to be brought back to original condition. It is a 2.6 model, which gives you the 6-cylinder engine. The tires on it are pretty good. They're not a fancy brand tire or anything, but they do have plenty of tread, and they seem to work fine. I've drove on them for about 10,000 miles. They were pretty new when I bought the car, and they still have plenty of tread left. One thing that stands out more than anything, and that has been bothering me ever since I've owned this car, is this little dink here on the bumper. Some of the grill was a little bit destroyed as well, so I changed the grill, but I never got around to actually finding a bumper. What I do is I wait until I find a salvage car that's part out or something like that to score parts off of it, if I can. But I just, these cars are getting rarer and rarer as time goes by, so just haven't been able to find a... Actually, I did find a bumper that's in a little bit better shape. Let me show you. But it is also cracked in this pretty much the same place. However, this is a complete bumper, so it can be something that's patched up and painted and thrown back on the car if that's something you want to do, and if that's a piece that you want to take with you when you purchase the car. If you won't take it, I'll probably just end up throwing it away, to be honest with you, or put it up for sale on Craigslist or something like that. The rest of the paint is in good condition. As you can see, it's shiny everywhere. It's not fading, with the exception of this door ding right here. That's about the only flaw I can tell with the paintwork. So it looks like the previous owner touched it up right there. Looks like something, there was either a big door that hit it or something hit it right there. But it's not bad. The rest of the panel is still straight. It's just a little ding. The side moldings are okay on this side, but everywhere else they're kind of fading, as you can tell. So that's not dirty. It's like a discoloration or something like that. Perhaps this is something that can be buffed out, as you can see right there. I have tried buffing it out, and it will come back. However, whether that's something you actually want to do, I'm not sure, because the paint on these plastic pieces is so old that if you take a pressure washer to it and it's a little bit harsher than it needs to be, it's actually going to wash the paint right off the car. So I would suggest painting these lower moldings, or finding new ones in better condition, which are available. And what I mean when I say wash the paint off, I really mean this. This was a little black spot when I purchased the car, and I was washing it one day, and I got a little too close with the pressure washer, and it washed the paint off. So at least a couple of these pieces will need to be painted, and while you're painting a couple of them, might as well just do all of them. most of these pieces, except with the exception of the rear bumper and these moldings on the door, may need some paint. But the rest are, yeah, with the exception of the rear bumper and these two pieces, the rest of the moldings will probably need paint. Some other things about the car. One thing that's great about these tags, the antique plates, is that they are very, very cheap. I think for Florida, initial registration is like probably close to $400. These blue plates, antique plates, as you can see, it says antique right there, is just covered up by this. The antique plates, I think, run for about $100 or something like that. They're not very expensive at all. See also right there, the paint. It's just missing. It's paint that if you take a pressure, if there is a small rock chip or something, and you take a pressure washer to it, it'll just sort of peel off the rest. So just beginning stages of paint failure right there. But the rest of the paint is in pretty good condition. There's really nothing wrong with it. As you can see, it is complete. You know, all the little jack point covers and all of that, that's all still there. This bumper is cracked right there and it's missing a chunk. So yeah, probably will need a new bumper, to be honest with you. When I bought the car, it didn't have this tow hook cover, but I found one in black. Or actually, it's the one from that black bumper I showed you. So while you're at the paint shop, you can have them touch that up too. Shouldn't be a big deal. The mono wiper has been lubricated. And this is where it sits right now. It's about as good as I could get it with the time I had. So when you turn it on, it does come down a little bit and then go back up. But it's really not that big a deal. Just something I want you to know. Let's see if I can. Yeah, so the windshield's new. However, that ding right there, that's something that happened a few days after I had the windshield replaced. And by the way, when I replaced the windshield, that's when I did the wiper as well. Perhaps you could change it, or if it doesn't get worse, you know, maybe you can just fill it in, or it really gets covered by the wiper. So really not a big deal, to be honest with you. It looks like, sorry for the dirt. I washed the car last week and it's been sitting outside in the time being. So it's not in the cleanest of states, but I'll take care of that for you before you come see it. So let's see. I do have 2 of these keys and 1 of these little wallet keys that come with it. It does have power locks. And the interior is pretty clean. These 2 strings were replaced at some point. I didn't do it, but if you're familiar with these cars, you'll see that these are sagging. So that one's sagging a little bit more. I would assume it's because it's used more, since it's easier to throw stuff in it when you're in the driver's seat. So that's why it's probably sagging a little bit more. Not a big deal. Also, I wanted to speak about the antenna. Well, let me show you the trunk. Well, I guess there's some stuff here that I need to take care of. Some spares and random windshield wiper mechanisms. So that's actually been replaced too. The windshield wiper mechanism was replaced because the old one, when the windshield was being replaced, it kind of broke on me. So, and there was no way I was gonna let the windshield guy take all that trim off to get to the windshield, because the whole like wiper assembly and all that needs to come off. So the antenna sat right there behind this plastic cover, which it can easily be taken off. Um, it was leaking water because there's a little rubber grommet that goes around it. And when you turn on the radio, basically what happens is the antenna comes up automatically. There's a rubber grommet that was disintegrated and water was leaking down it. So the Hirschman antenna was basically faulty. I will include that. That's inside the house. I can show it to you later. I can include that with the car. Basically anything that has anything to do with this car you can have when you purchase the vehicle. No rust anywhere. I don't know if I can show you here, but all the bodywork is straight. And it's an original Florida car, so you literally will not have to deal with any kind of rust whatsoever. Original stickers too, which is pretty cool. So let's pop the trunk, or let's pop the hood, actually. Before that, let me show you around. Put the hood into service position. Okay, so we do have a new hood pad that was replaced last year. As you can see, it's one of the newer style hood pads that doesn't cover up the whole thing. So all these stains are basically adhesive from the old hood mat that was there. That's not rust or anything. I don't know if it can be worked out with heat or how you would take it off. I haven't gotten around to it. That's something that you'll need to figure out. So we have here the beautiful, what series engine was this? I forget. 2.6 liter straight six. I almost said M30 engine, but that's what comes in the BMWs. M something perhaps, I forget. Either way, so just to show you, the car is completely cold. Since I can touch these, I don't think it's been started in a year. The heater core is blocked off, but I'll talk about that a little bit later when we get inside the cabin. It does have a very recent air filter as well. Plugs, wires, and a distributor are also very, very new. Within the last 5,000 miles, I'd say. It has a new fan clutch and a new radiator and a coolant system job and a new thermostat. Coolant system job. Coolant fluid antifreeze. New thermostat. And yeah, other than that, there's nothing really to brag about here. It's just a standard engine. Nothing's been done to it. There's a little pipe that goes from here to pick up cold air. The reason that's not there is just because I took it off to change the air filter and I couldn't get it back on for some reason. I'll try and get that on for you before you come see the car. Like I said, the car may need some injectors, and that's because, as you can see, these don't look like they've ever been touched, and I can't see any marks that are obvious that this has been off at any point. So I'm only assuming that these injectors are completely original. So that may be part of why the engine is struggling a little bit at startup, because what happens is the injectors stratify the fuel, so they get it into a mist, and unless there's high enough pressure, so if the car is idling, it will just literally spray the fuel like out of a squirt gun or something. It won't be a mist, a fine mist like it needs to be. So that's part of the reason why it may have kind of a low P idle at times. So it's actually kind of a cool day today in Florida. It's about oh God, about 10 degrees Celsius. I don't really know what that's in Fahrenheit. Probably about 40 degrees or something, 45. It's below 50 degrees Fahrenheit, so relatively cold and dry day, given the circumstances that we're in Florida. So we'll see a nice cold start for your viewing pleasure. Let's check out the inside of the car. So as you can see, it's pretty clean. Amazingly, these doors, usually what happens is they kind of bubble up on a lot of these cars, but these ones are in really good shape, and actually all of them are in really good shape. So that's a very, very rare sight to see. Maybe a little bit of separation right there, but I think it just goes to show that this car has been garaged. Let's see the other ones. Maybe a little bit right there. I'll see if I can work that in with like a credit card or something. I think I've done that actually a couple of times, and once you do that, it stays on there for like probably 6 months. And also, yes, you see this has been used a little bit more than the other one, because it's easier to actually put stuff in here when you're in the driver's seat. The rest of the interior is pretty clean. Very, very basic compared to modern cars. And actually one of the main reasons why I decided not to drive it anymore and decided to get something else is because I really do miss modern features in cars, like modern cruise control, completely automatic. Well, this one is automatic too. Air conditioning system, just modern features like one-touch windows. I really enjoy those kinds of features. So actually I bought another cool European car. I bought the Saab 9.5. Very, very rare. You don't really see much of these anymore. So this Saab has like literally twice the power of the 190. It's got close to 300 horsepower with a stage 1 tune, and where we have about 160 here. So, and I get a lot better fuel economy with the Saab too. I get about close to 30 miles to the gallon, whereas this gets around 20 because it does have the big motor, relatively speaking. This door is also nice. I forget what's in here. Looks like there's some shop glasses and registration, and I got some kind of warning. What is this? I'll take a look at that later. And what looks like a piece from the trim that goes around here that's completely broken. Maybe I can kind of glue this just to make it look a little bit better. But one of the things that does let this car down is the fact that, let's try not to get it dirty. This wood trim surround is kind of completely ruined. As you can see, there's peeling everywhere, and the rest of the wood was very similar. Actually, I'll show you the center console that used to be in here. I have it right here next to this set of old Bose 901 speakers. So this is the one that was on there, and it was in pretty poor condition. You know, the wood was falling out, and actually might need that. Some of the heater controls were, the ASIC controls were just not very good. They'd stick, so I just decided to replace the whole center console. I found a good deal on the whole thing and just decided to throw that on there. So that's what this old center console looked like. You see it has that black trim right there. So it's like a two-piece trim. The newer one is a little bit different. The newer center console trim is a one-piece right there. So actually I stole this from the other car, or from the other center console, so I might as well put it here. This little knob thing. Let's see if we can put that on there right There it is. Okay. So I found the center console. I found a new ashtray with the cassette holder and the whole thing. And I decided to buy it because all the buttons feel better and they're not sticking and they all work. One of the things that this car doesn't have is a stereo. I apologize for the lack of light here, but it's getting towards the end of the day and I'm losing sunshine. I'm trying to do this as quick as I can. So this whole center console was replaced, including the cigarette ashtray and including the cigarette lighter or 12 volt power source here. So the thing is, this is from 1991, I believe, and the wiring adapter for this is a little bit different. I can tell by the wiring that it can be wired in. However, I really just wanted to throw it together because just the old center console was so ugly. It also has a new sail, I believe they call this, and newer vents, which seem to stay on for the most part. Also a new sail on this side. And yeah, it's got a newer mirror, a new light right there, or a new what should I call this? A visor. The reason I bought a new visor because the mirror was completely busted on the old one, and I did manage to source a brand new OEM NOS new old stock visor from actually 1986. So that's pieces from 1986, although the car is a 1989. This one is in pretty okay shape. It's got a little bit of a crack there, but no big deal. And this light does come on if you convince it. You have to kind of push on it, and sometimes it comes on. But it's not like you'll be doing your makeup while you're driving, so that's all I have to say about that. At least I won't be doing. I don't think any beautiful women will be driving this car. So, this is more of a man's car, especially it being 30, how many years old? 33 years old. Dashboard reads 58,656 miles. And the clock is correct, I believe. Well, I actually think it's 6:15, not 7:15, because I don't think I've changed it since daylight savings time. Anyway, so this car has not been started in over a week. Let's see what happens when I try and start it. Actually, let me close these doors first because I don't want that buzzer to go crazy on me. And actually, it does have a nice tint all around, which does help keep the car cool here in this Florida weather. So that's ignition. So the car hasn't been started in a week or so, and it took that long to fire up. $58,656 miles. We do have a SRS light. So, not surprising, it's an old airbag. I'm sure it could use some attention. Let's see, does the gauge work here? Yes, this gauge is just stuck at that level, and I believe there is a vacuum leak. Sometimes it works. But as you can see, we do have a pretty nice idle. And the seats are nice and not ripped anywhere. I don't know if I showed you that. They're not power seats, they're manual seats. So at least you won't have to deal with any old electrics as far as the seats go. They work fine. let me show you all of the lack of features and amenities that these old cars have. Is just astounding. I'm just so used to being in newer cars that have screens and one touch this and power that, and this car is actually extremely basic. So we do have windows that work very, very well. Let's see, does this one work? Yep, and it goes down all the way. Not something you see in newer cars that have all airbags and whatnot indoors. That's looks like the rubber was dragging on that window. Let's see if it does it again. I'll see if I can lube up those tracks for you. This window works, but the button is broken, and you can actually tell by the way it clicks. I'm pretty sure it's the button. However, it doesn't click. It makes the appropriate click when you try and close it, and you can actually hear. You can hear the motor try and roll it up. So this button, this set of buttons is about $20 on eBay or Amazon even. Perhaps that's something I could do for you. I'll see if I can. I believe the light in the center console also works. We have original Mercedes roadside assistance here if you decide to break down. Although I don't think that will happen because the car does have a new OVP relay and also a voltage regulator, which a voltage regulator, if you listen to Mercedes Source videos with Ken Bergsma, the only time he's gotten stranded with one of these old Mercedes-Benz is when his voltage regulator on the alternator was basically worn down from all the years of use. So this car has a new one, a Bosch original unit too. One thing I wanted to say is that this is the light switch here. So one thing that needs to happen is when I turn the lights on, these buttons are supposed to be illuminated, and also these. However, they don't come on, and I think it's because there's a fuse back here that has to do with that has something to do with controlling the illumination on these buttons, and that's something that needs to be replaced. I haven't gotten around to looking into it. So you know, with all the other things I've sorted out, it shouldn't be hard to pull this out. I don't even think there's any hardware holding the dashboard in, or the gauge cluster in rather. Something with some trim removal tools. It's something that can be done with trim removal tools, and it shouldn't take long. I just haven't done the research for it. We have a dash with 0 cracks, which is awesome. And when I first got the car, this was broken, the vents were broken, all the wood, you saw the old center console, how it was. And what happened was the car had a stench inside, like kind of a moldy smell. That's because there was water leaking from the heater blower motor fan area. There is a drain hole for you know, the AC evaporator turns cold, and it's literally creating air and turning air into water. So it has to drain it. So that drain was clogged up, and literally when you're using the AC, there would be water coming in from the vents, and the carpets would be wet. So it boggled my mind. However, what I realized was that the reason the heater core is capped off is not because there was a heater core failure. It's just that the person who was trying to work on the car thought it was a heater core issue, and they decided to cap off the heater core, and then later realized that didn't solve the problem. So the reason this car doesn't have heat at the moment is just because of that. Obviously the heater core, well, I don't think it's the heater core because the heater core was pressure tested and it didn't leak. So I really do believe that you could literally just plug back up that heater core and it should work fine. There's no water leaks in the car anymore, and the AC does work. As you can tell, when I push the AC button on, the idle will die down a little bit. And we get nice and cool air immediately. Wow. It is a pretty cold day though for Florida, so. Let's shut that off for now. So, I'm gonna close this hood and take you out on a spin. Although the car is not registered at the moment, so I'm not gonna take you far, just around the neighborhood. So yeah, this car definitely could use a stereo. And I'm flexible on the price, so you know we can negotiate something. There are really nice. They're not Becker. They're Blaupunkt units. I think Blaupunkt Bremen units that look like an old school cassette player. That, in fact, when you flip up the cassette, what looks like a cassette player literally just has like USB and whatnot. So it's an old school looking unit that has all the modern stuff on it. Let's see. So we have a nice temperature there, good oil pressure at idle. I know it looks like it's a little bit high, but that's just because the car's not fully warmed up. Let's see. Hasn't been driven around for a while, so the brakes are dragging a little bit. Well, I can just tell they're rusty because it's been raining here too, but shouldn't take long to clear them up. The car drives, oh my God, I'm gonna miss this thing. When I sell it to one of you guys. There's the way the speedometer works, it works on a cable. And actually, once you get to about 20 miles an hour, it loosens up. Right now it's a little stiff just because the car's been sitting for a week, but that comes back on after you go fast enough. Let's see if we can. So I got it up to about 30 miles an hour there. But it will come back on, I promise. There's a way you can lubricate them and they're a little bit better. But that's not the reason why the mileage reads so low. Because the odometer does work even if the speedometer doesn't work. So that has nothing to do with that. I do believe that these are 58,000 original miles. If you take a look underneath the car, it looks extremely clean. There is not a speck of rust anywhere, and I have taken it to a couple of shops. And which one was it? I think Auto Europa Naples, or what was the shop name? German Auto Works, Naples, Florida, or something like that. I'll look it up and put it in the description. See, we have another W123 right there. That's nice. They looked at the car and they said, yeah, because I was skeptical about the mileage when I first bought it. But they said, you know, with the way it looks underneath and how clean it is, we really do think that these miles are original. So yeah, let's take you back and I'll show you how the sunroof works. Now, one thing that's really cool about these cars is just having that three-pointed star on the hood right there. Do we have water in the windshield? Yep, windshield sprayer works, and we have a nice and smooth operation of the of the wiper. If you see, let me take this corner first and I'll show you. When I turn the wiper on, it goes down a little bit and then it comes back up. But you can have that recentered. I don't know if you're able to catch that on video. Yeah. It just moves up a lot, maybe like 3/4 of an inch. Just given the time, that's the best I could get it. I'm sure that somebody who knows what they're doing with these cars can center it appropriately. Just given the ride quality of this car, the suspension feels okay. However, if there's a harsh bump, it does kind of rattle a little more harshly. It's just not smooth, let's just say that. I do think it could use some shock absorbers because the place that I took it to in Naples, they did say that one of the front shock absorbers was leaking or something like that. It's just that I wasn't prepared to have it fixed right then and there. See the oil pressure settles down once the car warms up a little bit. So as soon as you give it gas, it comes right back up. We have a good idle. Now let's see what happens if I turn the car off and then on. It may actually take 2 tries after it warms up. Let's see how it behaves. Started right back up. So it's intermittent. I mean, it's very smooth. Let's see if there's like no shaking inside the cabinet, almost no shaking at idle. Sometimes the idle is lopey. Perhaps it's because it's a cooler day. I'm not sure. But outside, the exhaust is not noisy at all. And, you know, it's just it really is just an honest 190E. It's been used. It hasn't been abused, but it's been used as a car. It just hasn't been driven much. And yeah. Let's see if I can pop the hood so you can hear this engine run. No funny noises at all. So it's getting kind of late and the video is probably getting a little bit too long and too dark. So I'm gonna go and end here. If you're interested in the car, my name's Victor. The car is located in Oviedo, Florida. That's East Orlando area. Phone number 321-290-0158. I have it listed on Craigslist for $9,500. I am flexible on the price. Just given there's a couple of other ones of these on sale now. There's a 1991, I believe, with 115,000 miles or so, with a 2.3 engine that goes for about 8.6 or 8.7 or something like that. So I mean, I'm flexible on the price. You know, that's what the car is, and it comes with all the keys. I have some documentation for it from work that's been done. And yeah, see, it's starting to rain. Let's see if this wiper can take care of it. There we go. So I'm gonna go ahead and end here. Thank you so much for watching, and have a nice day, and let me know if you're interested.